Hey there, firearms and flowers. So, actually, if you're asking my opinion, I would say yes. I think that anytime we change the genetics of anything, if we're interfering with it, something that wouldn't happen naturally, because let's be very, very clear. Genetic recombination is just a part of development. That's what happens when mating occurs, crossbreeding, all that kind of stuff. That's what happens. That's how you get genetic diversity in a population, whether you plants or animals. That's how that happens. So it's a natural thing that occurs, the recombination of genes. So when mommy and daddy, no. Okay, I'm gonna get serious now. No, so recombination, or genes that mix and match, that's a natural part of breeding. That's not always selective. It happens naturally. So I think that anytime that that science or man disrupts that natural ability or does some kind of change, I think that would be, me personally, I would consider that genetically modified. So that's just my opinion. Now, let me qualify what I'm saying. I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing. Okay, and here's why. We use genetic modification to enhance our lives for the better. For example, if you're in the ag field, or if you're not in the ag field and you're just someone who is going to be planting your own crops, right? Let's say corn, for example. We have genetically modified corn strains that are resistant now to things like bugs and other kinds of deleterious effects. So beyond just getting eaten by bugs, right, and ruining your crop, plants are also available to become tainted with bacteria and fungus and all kinds of mold and whatnot that will attack them as well. These are natural occurring things. And so when that happens, it's going to decrease the crop yield. And no one wants that. Who wants spoiled food, right? Or food that can't develop to its full capacity so you can eat it, right? So we can use GMO, or we make GMO organisms like plants that are resistant to bacteria and fungi and mold, all that kind of stuff. And I think that's a benefit. That's one way we use GMO for the good, to make our lives better. And if that didn't interest you, I think there's one more thing that you may feel like, oh, I guess we can see the usefulness with GMOs. So there is a species of mosquito that brings certain diseases along with it, right? So not all mosquitoes carry diseases, but they can transmit diseases, but certain mosquitoes are well known for transmitting certain diseases. That is the A. aegypti species of mosquito. And so they transmit things like dengue, chikungunya, like just really bad stuff, right? You don't ever want to get those diseases. And so to cut down on that, the only way to get rid of those diseases from that vector, which is the mosquito, is to get rid of the mosquito. And so there are now genetically modified mosquitoes. And what that genetic modification is it prevents the mosquitoes, when they mate, they're basically sterile. So they're mating all they want, but they can't produce any more babies. So once those adults die out, that's the end of that generation. And so by reducing the mosquito population overall, you reduce the likelihood of the spread of those dangerous diseases. So I hope that was helpful. And I hope that was two good examples of how GMO is not always a bad thing. Genetically modifying things to make them better, or make our lives more convenient, or to reduce things like diseases is not a bad thing, in my opinion. But that's just what I think. I hope that I explained that the way that it was palpable to you and it made sense. And if not, drop me a comment again and we'll keep having a conversation. So, okay, bye.